Alright guys, we're back with the Champion 27-ton log splitter. The last video I changed the pull handle, and as you know in the past I mentioned we was having problems with it and I thought it was the carburetor. We since then put it in the shop. The guy confirmed it was the carburetor. He cleaned it the best he could, but he was going out of town for several weeks and he knew we wanted the log splitter back, so he gave it back to us. He has it running, and it will run right now, but on half choke. That cost me $75, guys, to take it to him to halfway fix the problem. So we went online and got a carburetor. The carburetor was only $22. I could have saved myself a lot of money by doing it myself, but we was hoping when we came back it would be fixed and we'd be ready to start working, but it wasn't. So today, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take this carburetor off, put the new carburetor on. I am not the best at this, so you may see something that you do different, and that's fine. Put that in the comments, let me know. You may be seeing something that, whoa, you're doing it totally wrong, Joey. Put it in the comments. I'm going to do the best I can. I've taken these carburetors off before, off of like with string trimmers, other lawnmowers, chainsaws, so this shouldn't be a problem, but let's go ahead and dig right into this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this cover off here. And this is where the air filter is at. And we're just going to take that out, set it to the side. So inside here we had 2 Phillips screws, and then a 10mm nut or bolt. So take that off. And we just take that whole thing off like that. I'll hand that to Chris, you can put it up somewhere. Now this carburetor just slides off of these 2 bolts right here. I hope you can see that. You want to keep this part. We're going to need to unhook this spring and this piece of wire right here. We need the pliers to do that. I know you're not going to be able to see it too well with my hands in the way, but actually the spring just broke. No, it didn't break, it just came undone real easy for some reason. And then this one here fits in a certain way. There's a slot right here. So you have to take this and put it even with that wire and kind of just pull up out of that slot. And then the only thing left, I believe, is this clamp right here. And you're going to want to slide it down off of the hose because there's a bump out up here on that metal pipe in there, and it won't go over the top of that bump out. Then you pull the hose off. And we do have the gas turned off, but there was gas in the line. Alright guys, so what I did was just stick a screwdriver down in this hose to keep the gas from coming out because the gas is before the shutoff valve. Also split my hose a little bit right there, so be careful you do not do that. And then this should slide off. And for the rest of this, we're going to move it to the bench. So before I get too far into this, guys, I'm going to take this screw off of this bowl right here outside and drain this gas out so I don't get it all over my bench. So I will be right back. So this is the box the new carburetor came in. And it does give me a new hose and clamps, that's good. It gives me 2 gaskets. So if you didn't see that, I had to actually take the choke handle off of this one. We're going to slide it over onto this one. It just slides on this post. And then there's a slot in this black part here. That's where this little pin right here goes. So that's it, just like that. That's open, that's closed. And that is the new one. So we're just going to take it back over to the log splitter and put it back together. All right, so this is the old gasket for the back against the motor. We're going to take that off. Stick it right here for now. It came with 2 new gaskets, one for the front, one for the back, but I'm a little concerned about the front one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So it looks like it gave me 3 gaskets, so I got to match them up. And it looks like this one's a winner. So, goes this away. And this is the old one. We're just going to still put that to the side for a minute. The new carburetor is just going to slide on these 2 bolts. Why is it a little crooked though? Maybe because I put it on backwards. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So the package gave me a new hose, but this end of the hose you actually connect underneath all this. I am not taking all that off. If I have to later, I will. But for now, I'm just going to use the same hose we got. So first we're going to stick that hose back on. And I did split this hose a little bit, so we're actually going to try to get that clamp above that split when we connect this back on. I'll push the clamp down, but at the same time keeping it above my split. So I went back to the old clamp, guys. Now let's just see if I can get this clamp squeezed. Put that hose down a little bit further. Put that clamp right about there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the fuel on, which is already on. That's on. Next thing we need to do is put the other gasket on. And it's this one right here, but look at the size difference between this front gasket and this back one. This has like a rubber insert in it. I'm just going to leave the original front one on there. We'll keep this one though, in case we ever need it. And once that's on, we can start hooking up this wire again. Remember, this goes, I know you guys can't see it too well, but there's like a groove that's made for this wire. And then this spring, which is actually a bit around that wire right there, has a little hook on the end. And you got to be careful not to stretch this too much, but there's a hole right below that little rod. Hopefully I'll get it in there in a second. I know you can't see because my hands are in your way. Now that's in there. Now the only thing left to do is put this cover back on all the nuts and bolts and screws. So this cover goes back on these 2 screws, and there's a little hose right here. It's just an exhaust for the vent. And that's going to go in this hole right here on the front of this motor. Choke. All right, now that's back on. Got to make sure we put this hose back in that little hole. That's in there. Let's go ahead and put these 2 bolts on first, because then that'll hold it all in place. And I got these 2 Phillips screws I took out of here, which, looking back, I probably didn't have to take these little screws out. That's on. Put the filter back in there. And if I'm right, this thing should start. Let me get some of these tools out of the way and we'll come back and see if it'll start. So we got the choke on, the gas on. I'm just going to pull it lightly a couple times. So guys, did you see how easy that started? I wasn't even planning on starting it. I was just pulling it to get stuff flowing, moving around. It started on the second pull. So I'm very happy with this. I should have just went ahead and changed the carburetor in the beginning, but I didn't. Lesson learned. So I don't know if you've seen in that video, but this gauge is very wobbly. I don't really like that. It can't come out because of the way it's positioned in there. But I did not plan on this thing starting that easy. I was going to just doing that to get everything moving. But it started with that little bit of a pull. Well, guys, that's how you change the carburetor on the Champion 27-ton log splitter. Lawnmowers, chainsaws are very similar. There's not much of a difference when you're taking carburetors off. It's usually the 1 or 2 hoses. It's usually the 1 or 2 throttle cable and spring. They're pretty much the same one. I know it's the same one with lawnmowers and with chainsaw. My older chainsaw, I don't know about the steel, I've never changed that one. But that's going to be it for today, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you found this video helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe you didn't like the video, maybe you didn't find it helpful, but you're just like me. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And until next time, you'll have a great day.